Ladies and gentlemen, you're going to want to strap yourselves in for this one. This one's going to be more of a reality check than it is anything else. So if you're not about that, if you're not about taking accountability for your own life, then this is definitely not the channel for you, and you should probably just go to somewhere else. So the question and the topic for today is, are you capable and competent enough to lead the life that you want to live? Now, this is a question that we all must ask ourselves immediately. Immediately. Do it right now. Even if you need to pause the video and just ask yourself that question and be frank and direct and honest with yourself about the answer. If you're not, that's okay. That's why you're on channels like this. If you are, well, then you're probably just watching this video or acknowledging this content or soaking it all in just to get some little bit of extra motivation or inspiration or whatever it is that you're looking for here. My main goal with this channel and with everything that I do is to empower people to prosper. That is my mission, and I understand that life is about prospering. Life is not about surviving. So oftentimes in life, we think that if we just get this thing, or if we just get this next meal, or if we just get this next that, or this or that, we'll finally get to a place in which, oh, we'll be there. We'll get to where we need to be if we just get that thing. But then once you get that thing, something happens, right? Usually something happens where all of a sudden you're not exactly satisfied with what you just got. And this is kind of the facade of achievement, but also achievement is in a way a double-edged sword. And in another way, it's almost like lighting the candlestick at both ends. You understand that you need achievements in order to have value, and you need value in order to have achievements. But once you get those achievements and once you get that value, you'll realize that and I've mentioned this to someone else in a consultation a while back, it's that you are who you are because or you get your achievements because of who you are, not because of the achievement itself. So you have the achievements because you are the person that you are. Okay? Life is about decision making as well. If we're not making proper decisions, and if we're not making sure that our goals are actually aligned with the life that we want to live, well, then it's going to be very challenging for us to move forward in a way that manifests itself in the way that we want. And a lot of the times we don't always know exactly what we want until we stumble our way through it. When I was just getting started into getting in self-improvement overdrive, let's say, I was just going gung-ho all in. I will sacrifice everything that I need to sacrifice to get to where I need to be. I will do whatever it takes to win because I'm sick of always feeling like I'm defeating myself. It wasn't even that I was blaming it on the world necessarily. Of course, there were times in the past where I did think that way, and I did think the world was genuinely out to destroy me. But then I woke up and I realized, okay, no, this isn't the world that's doing this. This is me. I have to take responsibility and accountability for myself, and I have to look at myself in the mirror and tell myself the honest to God truth. When I was nearly 200 pounds, and I'm 5'6", and now I'm 155. Okay, so this was about 2.5, 3 years ago. Plus, I guess it is 2024, so it was about 3 years ago. And I looked myself in the mirror. I had my sense of where I wanted to go for my career. I was about to get a promotion at my work that I was at the job that I was currently working at, and I had good things going for me. I had graduated from college with a bachelor's degree in philosophy. I was learning what I wanted to learn, at least so I thought. I was doing what I thought that I could be doing something with it, but I was never really setting myself up in a position physically, emotionally, or spiritually in which I would be able to thrive. And I had my spiritual awakening over 5 years ago, but it wasn't really until I had this moment when I looked myself in the mirror at this 200-pound guy and I thought to myself, dude, you can do better than this. Like you are not where you can be. You're not where you need to be. And you've got work to do. Like people are going to be running past you in life, metaphysically and physically, sooner or later down the line. Just because it looks like you're ahead now doesn't mean that you're actually where you are. This is what a lot of men don't want to do that I've noticed. I've noticed this with particularly the men that I've done consultations with. And I'm not going to try to sit here and like criticize these men, because the men that I have talked to that are in their early 20s or even in their teens and like 18, 19, and I'm just looking back and I'm going to be just so ecstatic to see these men progress into the people that they become and the men that they become. Because that seeing that kind of fire in those youngsters gives me hope for the future. It's like, okay, men really are waking up to this. Like, men really are seeing what they need to do. And also men are understanding that they need more of a life and spiritual direction more so than they need dating. Because so many men waste their time with dating coaches or whatever now. And it's just like, there are so many more things important in the world right now to focus on than a dating coach, like getting a woman. Of course, you have to understand female nature to some degree if you're going to thrive in this world at all. I genuinely believe that. But because otherwise you'll end up like someone like Jeff Bezos, who smart guy, obviously, like he obviously knows how to make money. He obviously knows how to run a business. But then his wife, who he has been recently divorced with within the last whatever, how long, took how many billions of his dollars for what? So, and it wasn't even the kind of woman that you would expect like a multi-billionaire to have. And so anyway, the point is that you can grow as much as you want in certain areas of your life, but until you get a holistic understanding of the actual sacrifices that you're going to need to make in order to get to the place that you know that you can be and that you must be in order to succeed. Because guess what? So many men are okay with being losers nowadays. Like, and I was one of those people. I was genuinely okay at one point in my life being like, you know what? Like, working 40 hours a week, like I'm doing it. Like, I got my degree, I did what I set out to do. Not even close, man. Not even close. I had just barely scratched the surface. That's all I really did. And I'm only now getting into my starting of my full potential. And you all can look at this when you drive past the graveyard. Look at all of those names, look at all of those gravestones. And you can probably guess, just by mere fact of existence itself, that I would say 70 to 90% of those people that are in the coffins did not live up to their potential, right? Not very many people did. I don't want to be one of those kinds of people. I don't want to be someone that you look at their gravestone or you just look at them. I don't know if I'll ever actually have a gravestone, by the way, but I just want to go back into the earth. Like, I just want it to be very natural. But anyway, the point is like, I don't want to be one of those people that you look at and be like, Another one bites the dust, another one goes. He didn't reach it. He couldn't do it. Well, why? Someone asks why. Oh, well, he would have rather have eaten pizza and stayed at home and lived a life surrounded by narcissists because he was too scared to go somewhere. He was too scared to actually socialize and grow a network. He was too frightened to be himself. He was too frightened to have confidence, and he was too frightened to be as sexy as he is and as he could be, to where like he just couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. That would suck. That would suck. That would suck to think that. And I don't want to think about that kind of stuff. And this is something I've also been thinking about. So many men will limit their potential. The modern man himself limits his potential because, again, and I used to be this kind of person, because I knew if I could just sit back in the shadows, well, then I wouldn't have anybody have to criticize me. If I just didn't say the things that I actually wanted to say, well, then no one would not like me, and I like to be liked. And here's the thing, like, once you get to a certain point, you're going to just naturally have, especially in your own personal development as a whole, you're going to naturally have a way to socialize about yourself. Now, me personally, just in the area in the community that I'm in, I know the people that I can talk to and I know the people that I don't. Because ultimately you want to know, okay, what's this person about? Are their values aligned with mine or not? Because if their values are not aligned with mine, then there's no even need to converse with them. Now, this is not to say that you should be an ignorant or rather an arrogant prick when you talk to these people if you have to talk to them, but it's like you understand that y'all are not on the same page spiritually. So go your own way with them. Like, again, you don't need to be rude. You don't need to call it out. You just need to, unless they're actually disrespecting you. But most of the time, people are not going to disrespect you in person. Like, this is something that I've noticed. I get more respect and more kindness and encouragement from strangers sometimes than I do and I have had from people in my past that I thought were close to me, my friends or my family, whatever. And this can happen on the self-development path as well. When you put yourself at the forefront of your own existence, you put yourself as your own mental focal point of origin, especially as a man, all of a sudden, the people that you're around, you've got to be able to pick and choose and vet more carefully who you allow into your life and who you do not. Because if you do not, ultimately, if you do not have a certain spectrum in which you can identify who is worthy to back your reputation and who's not, it's going to be very challenging for you to live in the world. And one of the things that we have to think about as men is our social status and where we really rank. A lot of the times, it's not even about social status necessarily when it comes to this. It's about competence. Where do you really rank, right? Like, think about this. When you were a kid in like middle school or something, it was pretty easy to see who the popular kids were and whatnot. It was pretty easy and to know like where you were ranked in the hierarchy of, let's say, power among the other children, even though you probably didn't understand that's exactly what it was, but you knew where you stood to some degree. Now, me, myself, when I was in high school, I went to 5 different high schools, though, because we moved around a lot. And so I would always get like a kind of a group of friends and then I'd move, and I'd kind of get a group of friends and I'd move. But I could always get along with almost anybody. Like the jocks really liked me, but I was never really like a jock. The theater kids like me, but I was never really a theater kid. That wasn't my style, but I did like it. Um, I was really interested in math and psychology, but I wasn't really like a math nerd. I didn't really like math like actually doing it. I liked to learn about it, but I didn't like actually doing math. And it was a kind of the same thing with psychology. I really loved to learn about psychology, and I loved to apply the behavioral tactics of it or the behavioral psychology of it, but I never really was like all in into it. And so I always had this like holistic understanding of everything, but I was never, it was kind of like that jack of all trades, but master of none mentality that I had. And now in retrospect, that was really good for me for the time that I was there. But nowadays, I am full fledged into like three different things, maybe four. I kind of alternate between those four things each day, and I apply everything I've got to those four things. And one of them being this YouTube channel, of course, because I make it a point every single day to do this. Not only does it keep me in a creative state of mind, but it also, I mean, I'm trying to get a message out. I'm trying to encourage people to live a life that they actually want to live. Imagine a world with me for a second. Close your eyes and imagine a world where everybody was physically capable, everybody was emotionally stable, and everybody was spiritually aligned with the Most High God. Now, I'm not saying that that's what everybody has to do or everybody has to be, but I'm saying imagine what that kind of world would be like, where creativity was not only something to be aspired to, but encouraged, where science was something that was not only studied, but also reviewed and created into something better. Imagine a world like this is the world that Elon Musk, for example, is trying to create. Now, do I agree with everything Elon Musk does or thinks? Absolutely not. But I sure as hell think that he's better than some of our other leaders that we've got going on. Like, we need more leaders in the world. We need more leaders. We need people that are actually going to lead us to somewhere better. Because ultimately, if you're not out leading the people, someone else is. And not all of us can be leaders, right? Not all of us can be leaders. There are times at my day job where, specifically, where I'm actually much better when I work behind the scenes than I do in the front lines with certain topics and with certain things. And that's okay. That's where I need to be. That's where I can provide the most value. And that's what all of this is about, is learning how to apply and appreciate the value that you have to provide and give, and also learn where your strengths are so that you can actually provide such things. My job, the way that I see this, especially with people that I do calls with, Uncle Thaddeus here. Uncle Thaddeus is lifting you up spiritually so that you can go get the things that you can get and do the things that you know that you can do. That's what I'm here to do. That's what I'm here to aspire to be. I'm here to show you your spiritual life so that you can, and at a holistic level, so that you can in turn take this and apply it to your own life. That's what we need more of in this world. We need more people that are going to take action. And to be honest, I don't want to be around people that don't want to listen to me for because here's the thing. It's so funny to me. This is a channel that is not a communist or socialist democracy or whatever. Okay. On this channel here, I'm welcome to take recommendations. I'm welcome to have, subscriber requests on videos or whatever. That's fine. That's great. But I'm not a jukebox. Okay? I'm not a shuffleboard. So to all of the people that are expecting me to do certain things or that have that, like, I welcome your input. I really do, but ultimately this is not your channel. If you want to start a channel, that's great. I will support you. Go do so. But here on this channel, this is the Regal Change YouTube channel. This is not the whoever thinks that they know something channel. Okay? This is something that I'm actually trying to build something here. We're actually taking our lives seriously here. And the whole teenage boy mentality and teenage girl mentality really as well, like of just like living your life the way that you want to do, or you go girl, or it's like, oh, I could keep playing video games and I can continue to eat pizza and ice cream, because that's what I was doing. I told myself that. I told myself that I would be able to continue doing this and still live a successful life. What a crock of shit that was. Stop listening to your excuses and start getting to work. Oh, and men, this is really easy how to get ahead of 90% of the people in the world. At least 90% of the men. You just work hard and you don't simp. Easy as that. With that being said, I hope this message was useful and insightful, and may the grace of Jesus be with us all.